like the Flashpoint, where it starts, one of the key matrix lines that will help shatter this status centralized system.
Hello, friends, and welcome to Flashpoint Radio. Thank you for joining me. I am your host, Jay-Z, and it is Friday, May 4th, 2012. Are you ready for your Cinco de Mayo celebration tomorrow? Oh yes, the false holiday created by beer industry to sell more alcohol. It's an obscure holiday that the Mexicans do not even celebrate. And what's funnier, I worked in the restaurant industry for 10 years. Guess who works at the restaurants when you're out partying on Cinco de Mayo? Yes, immigrant workers. So thank them when you're drinking your margaritas and your Coronas. Remember to follow me on Twitter at Flashpoint Radio, Facebook.com/Flashpoint Radio. Click like below, subscribe above, and then reshare this with your friends and family because the information can be useful for bringing people to the light or to reality, as I like to say. We're going to look at two articles and then a quick spot dealing with the NATO summit coming up. But first, we're going to go to Infowars.com. And this is an article titled Police Drugging Occupy Protesters. Well, this article includes a video that should be watched from the Minneapolis Occupy movement up there that's been around since April 7th. And well, some community activists were noticing that there were people being dropped off at the Occupy protest by police in an impaired state. They decided to get some video and interview some people, and they found out that the police were, yes, going to the Occupy protest and finding protesters to bribe them with drugs. Well, you say, well, why would the cops be getting young Americans or, homeless people or already drug addicts, why would they be giving them drugs? Well, it's part of the DRE program. What is the DRE program? Well, that is the Drug Recognition Expert Program that was developed in the 1970s by the Los Angeles Police Department. And if you know anything about the Los Angeles Police Department, they were the most corrupt police department in the nation before the 1980s. And pretty much they are known as being one of the most corrupt police departments in the history of the United States. And yes, that's where this program came from. Well, what is this program about? Well, it's about training police officers to recognize drug-impaired drivers and drug-impaired citizens. Well, that's okay. I have no problem with a training program that goes over the specific symptoms of using drugs. What I do have a problem with is our tax dollars going to buy illicit drugs and then the police picking up young people and getting them high. Yes, so while they're arresting your sons and daughters for making mistakes in their life, they're picking up people and getting them high on your tax dollars. Please read this article. It's really mind-boggling that we are allowing this to happen. It's mind-boggling that police officers are even participating in this program. And well, they said, they did some interviews with the police, and they said officers stated on record the DRE program run by the Minnesota State Patrol has no institutional review board or independent oversight. They agreed that no ambulances or EMTs were on the site. So they're getting people high. They don't know who these people are. They don't know the tolerance level of these people. They're giving them illicit drugs and then dropping them off and leaving. Where are they dropping them off? Well, they're dropping them off at a protest. What has happened at the protest recently? Well, they infiltrated and recruited 5. Now it turns out 3 of them were mentally deficient and had mental problems. They're recruiting them for patsy terror plots so they can put fear into the hearts of the public and to make themselves look like the heroes. So yes, I found that almost every state has a DRE program. Almost every state is getting young people high just to see the effects. This is called unsupervised experimentation on unknowing victims, okay? And they're using youth. Impressionable youth in America. Authorities are saying, we'll get you high. We know you like to get high anyways. And then what do? They get them high, and then they try to get them to rat out on their friends. Is this what we need to be spending our money on? Drug use is a social crime. It is a social problem. It is not a criminal issue. If you commit a criminal act while on drugs or to procure drugs, yes, that is a crime and should be treated as such. But drug use is a social problem and it should be treated that way. But no, we're treating it as a crime, and now we're actually buying and giving drugs to people on your dime. So to all my viewers in Minnesota, I know you're up there. This is what your tax dollars are going to, but it's probably coming from federal grants, so it's probably coming out of my federal taxes as well. So thank you again, government. We're going to move over to the West Coast, to San Diego. This comes to us from the LA Times. If you hadn't heard, well, a young man, a Daniel Chong, a 23-year-old University of California, San Diego student, was left in a jail cell for 5 days. 5 days by the DEA, federal drug enforcement agencies, not local jail, the feds. They left him in a jail for 5 days. He contemplated killing himself, he drank his own urine, and he nearly died. And he went into near kidney failure when he got out, and he was in the hospital for 2 days. What did they say? Well, when this all came out, of course, it came out later. The apology didn't come until it came out in the press, but the DEA, the head of the DEA in San Diego stated, "I am deeply troubled by the incident that occurred here last week. I extend my deepest apologies to the young man and want to express that this event is not indicative of the high standards that I hold my employees to." You're fired. Why are you not fired? You stated that you hold your employees to. Therefore, that they're not following your example. Or are they following your example? Or is it just the fact that the undercurrent in the federal government, in all of government, is evil? Okay? It's force. Force is evil. Okay? Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. This is an insane story. He's now suing for $20 million. Good. You should sue for $20 million. But the best part about it is when the politicians get involved. This is something that should be outraging the people of San Diego. And what should the people of San Diego be saying? They should be screaming at the top of their lungs, "Feds, leave! Get out! We can handle our own criminals, our own drug dealers. We can do it ourselves." They should not be saying, well, the feds need to take better care of their prisoners and the feds need to have more oversight. No, the federal government needs to get out of the way because it's called redundancy. We have police and security at every level of society. We don't need them at the federal level, okay? The federal level should be protecting us from outside dangers, outside of the borders of the country, not the borders of our state. But the best part is when the politicians decide to get involved and get their time in the shade, or their time in the sun. So, of course, who else but Senator Barbara Boxer, Democrat from California. What did she do? She called on U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder Jr. asking for a, quote, immediate and thorough Department of Justice investigation of the matter. The Department of Justice is who shipped guns into Mexico, drugs in that caused the deaths of probably upwards of 10 United States border agents and police officers and 1,000 Mexican nationals. Okay? They're the people who decided not to prosecute the Black Panthers who were intimidating people at polling places in 2008. Okay? They're the people that control the DEA. Okay? Federal agencies. The DEA falls under the executive branch. Okay? So Barbara Boxer decides to call for them to do an internal investigation. Oh yeah, that's how these things usually get squared away, right? We talk to the guys who are the criminals to investigate the other criminals. Well, at least, and the problem I have with this is that it is the second to last line, the last line in this article. The San Diego Union Tribune reported that Representative Darrell Issa wants a congressional investigation. That is at least some sort of common sense. I'm not saying Republicans better than Democrats, but Darrell Issa is the only one that's up in arms about Fast and the Furious. And at least he's saying for a congressional investigation. Why? Because at least we have a little bit of control over the over our congressmen. Okay? That's who needs to be investigating this. Not an internal investigation of the executive branch. The executive branch is the problem. They're the people that are going to become dictators. It's not Obama that's going to be a dictator. It's the executive branch. So yes, Barbara Boxer asking for a known criminal and a known liar to investigate. At least Daryl Ice is calling for a congressional investigation. But if you live in California, you live in San Diego, just tell the feds to leave. You don't need them. You can handle your own drug investigations. Finally, we've got this from CBS Chicago. Oh, yay. Security plans shut down roads, South Loop for NATO summit weekend. Well, all of the globalist representatives are going to be in Chicago the week of the 18th, 19th, and 20th, or the 19th through the 21st, and they're going to shut down all kinds of roads and put up all kinds of security roadblocks, and you're not going to be able to be on boats in the rivers, and you're not going to be able to fly overhead, or they're going to shoot you down. Look that up. Shooting down civilian airplanes to protect NATO. This is to protect NATO, no less. Not the president, not Congress, not United States representative. These are globalist operatives who are shutting down an American city. Okay? Do you think they care about you? No, they don't. They hate you. Why? Because you're the freest nation in the world. You're the nation that has all the guns. They hate you. But your politicians that you voted in will do whatever they say because they want that Agenda 21 money. They don't like you. They think that they're going to sell their people out and they're going to elevate to the globalist runners of the society. It's not going to happen. We won't sit for it. It won't happen in this country. And please don't let it happen. You have to watch out for these globalist power grabs and just tell people, no, this is America. America. Nothing's changed. We still have the rights. We're still America. We do not bow to foreign dictators, and we do not deal with roads being shut down so a representative from some communist nation can come in and badmouth the United States on our soil. Not in this country. I've got to get to pricing some garage sale items. I thank you for watching. Jay-Z signing off for Flashpoint Radio, saying God bless, keep your eyes to the sky, and I will see you next time.
Well, if you're looking for trouble,